Okay, so again, welcome to the first lecture that we have on Safety 1051 Tools and Workplace Techniques. Now, as I just said, this announcement section on our class portal, this will constantly update, constantly populate, constantly change. However, some things are going to be left permanently. The timetable for the labs, the lab timetable is going to be left permanently. I'll explain that again. The sections breakout is going to be left permanently. Our YouTube playlist link is going to be left permanently. Now, the YouTube playlist, I use that as a support mechanism for our class. Now, it looks like this right now. All right, now we have two videos. One is how to navigate on FOL, and everyone should pretty much be comfortable with that. Now this one that explains the lab timetable, which I will briefly explain again. And for example, today's lesson that we are recording, it is going to be the next after that. And anything that's happening online, I will record, I will post it, so you can revisit that and you can watch again and again. You've paid the money. There you go. That's from me to you. Also, what is going to be in this YouTube playlist is going to be the lab preparation videos, and as we begin each lab, I'm going to give you something to prepare. Now, the first lab doesn't have a preparation video. Now, some of the labs are going to be supported with the prep videos, and some of the labs are going to have online in-person demonstration, live demo by me and Mr. Cunningham, and some of them are going to have both. All right, so we're just going to use this thing as much as we can to get as much goodness out of it as we can. All right, so that is our YouTube playlist, and yes, the link. Oh, come on. The link to that is going to be permanently in the announcement section. All right, now let's see. Here's the announcement about the lecture. Now that is going to be removed after the lecture is done. It's just to keep things nice and tidy and clean when it comes to our announcement section. Now over here is our contact info. Mr. Bach, I am here. That's me, and I prefer to be called by my last name. Please do not call me by my first name until you graduate. Then it's a fair game. But let's keep some kind of a healthy professional distance while we are in school. All right, now, Mr. Cunningham is doing labs for sections 3 and 4. I'm doing the theory for the whole class and the labs for sections 1 and 2. All right, I believe some of the guys from the other sections, 3 and 4, already have met with Mr. Cunningham last week. So there, and if you haven't, then you will this week. All right, now, right off the bat, let's take a look at the labs timetable. First, as I said before, you'll find out which section you're in. Here's the list of the names, list of the sections. Please attend the sections as scheduled. Now, occasionally, if somebody needs to make up a lab or something happens, whatever, yes, I have reserved the possibility of occasional section jump by a person or two. That's fine, but as far as the regular schedule, please, let's stick to the regular schedule. Show up when you're scheduled. All right. Now, if there's some sort of special circumstances that for which you absolutely need to change the sections, then you have to take it up with the admin. All right, I have no authority of that. The admin is setting up the class list and the sections list and the breakouts and all that, and I'm just the executor of that. All right, I'm also executor for the marks, for your marks. Consider me as a mark printer. You earn your mark by performing your work certain way, one way or the other, and I am just a mark printer. I will print that thing for you. So as far as giving you a mark, consider me as a mechanical device that prints the marks. All right. You can do that. You can say it's safe. All right. Now, when it comes to the labs, first thing here, this is the revision 2, because when we were at the little orientation session, or the first sub lab session last week, we found that sections 3 and 4, they had to be flipped. So that video, original video that shows, you will notice that these are the opposite of each other. And I think that sections 1 and 2 are okay, right? If you find that you are scheduled for another class, this is always this here in every beginning of the year needs a little bit of tweaking, but after the first week or so, we are good. So please, sections 1 and 2, please confirm that your lab times do not conflict with your other classes, right? But I think it should be okay. So first thing on top, here is the information of the course, instructors information, teachers information. Now here, take a look at the second row of the first table on top. It says must have. All right, class E hard hat. We will talk about that in a couple minutes. While we go on, as we go on, we're going to have a lecture about hard hats. So class E hard hat, green tag and orange tag, safety footwear. Right, we're also going to talk about this today. Safety glasses and a padlock. Just for those of us who haven't got the message yet, you need to have your own padlock. Around the corner from our classroom, or the lab classroom, there's a set of temporary lockers. Those lockers are for us, for the time that you are in the lab. So when you have, especially in the winter, we have jackets, school bags, all kinds of other things. So jackets, school bags, and anything else that you have that you don't need in the lab room, put that in the locker, snap the padlock on, and show up to class with your tools and your PPE, which is personal protective equipment, and your wonderful knowledge, or knowledge-hungry brains. All right, we'll have fun with that. If you bring jackets and bags, well, there are people who are walking around and they will remind us not to have that, and I will also remind you not to have anything. It's a tripping hazard. This room is a big room. There are a lot of people. We are not the only ones in that room. There's a welding section from other classes. There are other apprentice classes. There are plumbers. There are carpenters. Sometimes that room is quite busy. So we're going to try to minimize the safety hazards, such as, well, tripping hazard would be the one that stands out most. All right, so that takes care of that, sort of, because we're going to expand on these three here. I'm not going to talk about padlock much. All right, now, as far as the labs, just a reminder, find out which section you're in, all right? Now, let's say you're in section 2. That's the column that you're interested in. Let's see when you have your labs from section 2. You just keep going down the column. Oh, there's an entry here. You move left. Oh, it's going to be Friday, January 19th. And yes, you're going to have lab 1 from 9 to 11. All right. Now, let's see when your next lab is going to be. Just go down the table. Oh, there's another entry. Go left here. Oh, it's another Friday, February 2nd, or February 2nd, as they say. And then here's the time, and that goes through all the sections. Now you can see here, Monday, February 19th is a family day, and well, the family day goes together with our study week. So February 19th to February 23rd, which is the Monday to Friday. That's the study week. There's no classes during that time. And then we resume February 19, and it was going to be the first section to have the lab. Well, 1, 2, 3, section 4. All right. Okay, so that's how it works. Right. Now, open lab, do we have an open lab? Yes, we have March 28th open lab, because March 29th is the, it's Good Friday. All right, now, Good Friday, it's Friday. Right? Usually Good Friday is on Friday. Then there's going to be no Friday labs, so sections 1 and 2s are not going to have, but we are still going to have that Monday. So during that Monday, anyone can come and just to any of the sections, which is probably going to be section 3 and 4. So that Friday, that Monday, right? Friday, Thursday, okay, Thursday. So Thursday, Mr. Cunningham has the lab on February 20 something, Thursday. April 4th. Well, it says open lab, but it looks like whatever the Thursday is before that Friday is going to be an open lab. Anybody can show up, all right? Okay. So that goes with that. Now let's start with the tools list. So we're just going to quickly go over the tools list. Okay. The first thing that pops at us is the screwdriver heads and the screw footprints. These are the basic of the screws that for the most part we're going to encounter. Now here is the first one. Let me just change my cursor. There you go, a little bit bigger. Now first one here is the slotted screw footprint. We call this thing slotted. Quite often you're going to hear the terminology that says flathead. That's not the proper terminology, although if somebody on the construction side says, can you hand me a flathead screwdriver, please do not waste time on correcting them. Just, just you should be able to find yourself within the crowd. However, you should know that this name, this footprint is called a slotted screw footprint or slotted screwdriver head. Why is it that we're not calling it a flathead? It is because flathead is reserved for the screw head shape. This is a flathead screw shape. This is a mushroomed screw head shape. See that? So it's the term flathead is reserved for the screw shape, okay, screw head shape. Now, next we move to is Phillips. That's the footprint, that's the head. Allen and Torx. Allen and Torx. Why do we have those? Why can't we just stick with the slotted Phillips and maybe Robertson? It has something to do with the machinery that's being used during the automation process, and when the screws are being put onto the screwdriver heads during the automated manufacturing process, somehow they stick better to the screwdriver heads, and they can be inserted into whatever devices they are. So that the automation is the reason they have invented some of those. So, well, and since those screws exist, you also will be able to purchase some of the shapes of the footprints. Now, some of those, especially I can see Allen and Torx, once in a while you're going to see a screw footprint with a pin inside sticking up, so you can't insert the regular screwdriver into it. These are called security screws. You need a special screwdriver with the hole in the middle, so that pin can enter that hole, and you can use the screwdriver on that screw. Is that going, that's called security screw. Is it preventing anything from theft or whatnot? No, nothing is preventing things from theft and damage, but some things are being used to make things a little bit more difficult. Okay, and sometimes that's all it takes. Now, let's see what we need as far as tools. This is probably the third or fourth time, maybe second time you're getting this kind of info. Let's just make things clear. Let's make things nice and with the knowledge available to you. What do we need on this here? You should, this list is already posted in the lecture posted notes or posted lecture notes. I made that list, and see those check marks? These are the ones that we should have. That's the minimum. There are tool kits that you can buy in the store, or Mr. Hamilton also gave you the name of the store that you can go and get that kit. Is it Milwaukee or Klein? Yes, those are good kits. However, for this particular course, the minimum, and you should be fine if you got those, is the following. All these tools on this list that are marked with those green check marks, that's what we need. Okay, so Robertson screwdriver sizes and head shapes. Robertsons are sort of color-coded. Sort of. They are color-coded. Okay? And they're also numbered from 0 to 4, or 00 to 4. This is the biggest, and this is the smallest screwdriver head or footprint as far as that insert here, or the footprint. Now, this is a Robertson, or also known as square screw footprint. That's what it looks like. And this is the Robertson screwdriver shape. That's the head of the screwdriver. Now, those can be on the tip of the regular hand tools. They also are in the forms of so-called bits, screwdrivers bits, and they can be mounted onto the screwdrivers. If there's a combination type of a screwdriver with exchangeable bits, those can be mounted there, or they can also be mounted in a drill, that the drill can be used as a screwdriver. As you go along, you're going to find which you actually prefer. Sometimes you will have both. All right, now the sizes: orange, yellow, green, red, black, and brown. For the most part, we're going to use green and red, which is Robertson number 1, green, Robertson number 2. Green is slightly smaller footprint. Red is slightly bigger footprint. That red is probably the most popular one. Green is pretty much almost as popular as red, so they're equally important. If you have any Robertson screwdrivers, you should have red and green for sure. Now, yellow is a little smaller than green. It's kind of a tinier thing. And sometimes you're going to be required to use black, which is bigger than red. Brown, I have rarely, maybe in my whole 30 plus years career, if you will, maybe I had to use brown once or twice. Right? But then depends on what you do. Right? So here, check marks, red and green. There you go. Now, I put some additional information. This is the size of those screwdriver heads. As far as the dimensions of the insert, in millimeters, and in the so here's the screwdriver insert. Then there's the head size, and in inches and in millimeters. And here is the fits screw size. Screw size are also numbered. Sometimes when you're in a home hardware store of any sort, or hardware store. Could be Home Depot, Rona, Lowe's, Home Hardware, Cobb's, or whatever, okay? Go into the screw section and look at the boxes, and you're going to find screws marked with 2 numbers. One is going to be the screw size, and the other number is going to be, which is not listed here, is the thread pitch, okay? But the first number, 632s, right? For example, 6 is the the screw size as far as the diameter of the screw, and 632, the 32 is the pitch of the how tight the thread is, right? Just to say, 632 is the screw that is being used to mount devices in the device box. So if you have a light switch and there's a top and bottom screw that mounts the switch to the box, that's a 632. So number 6 screws. And just take a look at some of those boxes that are labeled certain way, and just get used to how they look like. And also in the lab, we do have drawers with the screws, and they are labeled. You're welcome to come up to that and just touch that screw, hold it in your hand, see what it looks like, see how it feels, okay? Phillips, or the X kind of a or a cross shape. This is the next quite popular one. Now, those are numbered, number 1, 2, and 3. Here are the sizes, and this is what they fit. Now, where's number 6? Here it is. Here's screw number 6, 632, and if it's a Phillips, then you would use the Phillips number 2. So here's the shank diameter here. Here's the shank of the screw driver. The diameter of that would be as follows on this table here. So 632 would be those screws. Now, 832s also you would use the same screwdriver. Right? What if it's Robertson, number 6 screw? Oh, that would be used with the green Robertson. But if it's number 8 screw, and number 8 screws would be the screws that are mounting, like, let's say something that's called a lamp holder, which is like a bakelite or plasticky type of a light fixture, just to screw in the light bulb in there. And that device is mounted into a hexagon box or octagon box, and that device is mounted by the screw size number 8. And that you would be using the red screwdriver, red Robertson, if it's a Robertson screw. And most of them in Canada here, they would be. In the States, mostly you're going to find Phillips screwdrivers. In Canada, or screws, and in Canada, mostly you're going to have the Robertson. Your preference, and sometimes it's your preference of what you're going to use, and sometimes it's what you have to deal with. Slotted screwdrivers, 3/16 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. That's the size of the tip here. Here is the screwdriver head. Here is the footprint of that. Is this a flat head? No, it's not, because it's not flat, right? But it's a slotted screwdriver, right? Now, just these two, the 3/16 and 1/4 inch. Put it in simple terms, as far as what we are used, as far as sizes of the screwdrivers. This is the slightly bigger one, and this is the slightly smaller one, all right? Excuse me. Okay, side cutters, get the regular size power grip type. Power grip means it fits in your whole hand. It has a certain size to it. It feels like a normal size tool. Get those ones. Get the one here that just looks like that, sort of. Do not use those miniature side cutters. Those are great for your breadboard wiring when you do your electronics components or circuits in your electronics labs. Those will not work here. The wires are thicker, and we should have proper size tools for that. Wire strippers. Wire strippers looks like that. They look like that. Those little crocodile kind of, crocodile type of jaws. Now, I wonder if we can see that thing here. This one here says AWG, American Wiring Gauge. American Wiring Gauge, we'll talk about that. It has to do with the thickness of the wire. On one jaw, you have a list of the American Wiring Gauge, or AWG, or gauge numbers. The small, we'll talk about that later, further lectures, but the smaller the number, the thicker the cable, or the thicker the conductor. Right? Now, on the other jaw here, you have the sizes listed in millimeters, whichever you prefer. Most of the time in Canada here, we're going to use the American Wiring Gauge wires. Now, the strippers that you need for our class, they should have 14 gauge. See, here's the groove for the gauge 14. Sometimes you're going to use the thicker one, gauge 12, in our class. There are some wire strippers that are meant for thinner wires, and they do not go to gauge 14. Make sure that the gauge 14 and gauge 12 are listed on the jaws. Wrong button here. You will need tape measure. This is a good idea to have. That's the basics of the basics. Those markers, those permanent markers, well, you'll just buy them by boxes and keep them in your van. Also, in the other lecture notes, I have listed a digital level by Klein. The digital level, its shape just looks like almost like that, because it doesn't have a tape sticking out of it. It's a good idea to have, but it's not mandatory. Right? You can use that for the when we come to the pipe bending. All right, so that's as far as the tools that we need. Now let's see here. Oh, here's the course plan. One thing I'm going to have to say. Where does it say? All right, here, this is important. That's extremely important. Let's just get this thing right off the bat so we don't get any confusion when we come to the end of the term. In order to pass this course, here is very simple explanation. All labs must be attended, performed, and evaluated. So this is where you come in, this is where you come in, and this is where I come in. You do it, I evaluate it, and I record the evaluation. All labs must be attended, performed, and evaluated with the average passing grade, which means you have to perform all the labs. And the average for all the labs has to be minimum passing grade, which is 50%. It's not very difficult to get minimum 50% or as an average of the labs. However, here's the thing that needs to be clarified, and say it again and again and again. If your whole average of the whole performance in the whole class is 92%, that means the average of all the labs plus average of all the tests and all that stuff, and you have not performed a one lab, you don't pass the course. So it's extremely important. Now, I've made it easy for you to accomplish that, because if you look at the here, if you look at the schedule here, everyone gets to attend the lab bi-weekly. Right? 1 week you come for the lab, the other 1 week you skip. You come over, you skip. You come over, you skip. If some people get sick, family situations, whatever. You can just join the class with another section. I will let you do that. I cannot decide that you're able to switch sections. However, if you need to make up a lab, you're welcome to join. So there should be no excuse for us to not be able to perform all the labs. As far as the was the no lab section last week no, yeah, we are starting this week. Cool. Yeah, we just couldn't have a proper lab session last week, because last week was it was kind of scattered. It was the orientation week. We started halfway through, so it's pretty much almost like a, I hate to say that, but as far as that, it would be a write-off for that. So weights here in this course content, labs all combined. All the labs combined are worth 50% of all the whole course. So half of the course is labs, as far as the percentage evaluation. Each quiz, we're going to have 2 quizzes and 2 tests and assignment. Each quiz is worth 5% of the whole class, for the whole course. So quiz 1 and quiz 2, both are worth 10% of your total mark. Quiz 1 is worth 5, quiz 2 is worth 5. This is from the total mark. Assignment, we're going to have a written assignment. It is worth 10% of the whole course. And there are 2 tests. Each test is worth 15% of the whole course mark. Bi-weekly labs, we already know that. Detailed schedule, that's the one that's posted. You know that already. And here is our roadmap to success, listed by week. And I also took the time to mark the dates of the week. So we have 14 weeks. This is a 14 weeks span for the course. And if you want to know which week we're in, just look at my schedule here and you will know. Let's see what's today. Today is January 8th. Oh, Monday to Friday, 8 to 12. This is the week that starts on January 8th and ends on January 12th. So we are during week 2 right now. Wow, time goes fast. Before we know, we're going to be somewhere here. So that's how this works. Where does this thing live, this schedule? It lives right here. Here is our main course page. If you go to, okay, let me just, now I'm going to see what you see. Here's our main course page. If you go to content, here's course outline. Boom. Click on that. There are 2 documents on this. It takes time to load. One is the course outline. This is the general information about the course. And the bottom one here is the course plan. You can download that and keep it, or you can just keep looking at it as you wish. Now I'm going to go back to the main class portal right here. There you go. All right, so that's as far as that. Sorry. We have done the timetable, we've done the schedule, we've done the course plan of screwdrivers. Now let's take a look at the PPE that we're going to use. There. All right. This is the head, foot, and eye protection. All right. We'll start with the hard hat. Now let's see. Can we? I think it's Control L, but I'm not going to. I think it's Control L. View, full view, full screen. Yeah, Control L. There we go. Here is the hard hat, part of PPE. Let's see what we have here. This is the basic. Oh, come on. All right, this is the basic anatomy of the hard hat. This top thing here is called shell. Underneath that, this is what your head touches, is called harness. And now here is the headband right here. Sometimes it's called sweatband when you just so the sweat doesn't run down your eyes. The harness also has something that's called a cradle. So harness and cradle are kind of integral part of each other. Here's the brim around it. Here's the peak. That's the if a bird flies by, never mind. That gives you a little bit of a just like the baseball cap, sun protection, a little bit. And now we're not going to have the chin straps or the straps. Yeah. That's for the type 2. This is type 1 that we're going to use, but if there's one, it would be called the Y-type chin strap. Well, basic anatomy. How do we know that the hard hat is legit? Because they do have a lifespan. This is how we do it. All right, how to check your hard hat expiry date. All right, find out how to check expiry date on hard hats, what stamps to look for, where to look, the difference between the manufacture date and the expiry date, how long a hard hat lasts, when to replace a hard hat. Okay, let's just quickly go over that. The hard hats would have stamps like this. Right? There's something here. Every hard hat has an expiry date, also known as the maximum life. I can't read that. Hold on. When I got this. There we go. Here is our all right, there we go. Every hard hat has an expiry date, also known as the maximum lifespan. There we go. That's what was there. Might as well. Oops. Might as well do that. All right. You might think that this would be marked on hard hat, like a used by. Okay, so the hard hats are not marked. Like let's say you get go to a grocery store and get a bag of milk, and it says best before, something like that. So the date by which it should be consumed is marked. On hard hats, it's different. The day of manufacture is stamped on the hard hat. And then, depending on what is the life expectancy of that one, then you calculate from there. How do we look at this stamp? And we find it underneath the peak. Sometimes it's underneath here. Sometimes it's somewhere on the inside, on the back, maybe on the shell. All right, and the stamp goes as such. You have the little number inside, and you have a bunch of numbers on the outside of the ring. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 12. Well, you know what? These are 12 months. Right. Thank you, Christian. Yeah. So, and this one here is the year. So this hard hat was made in 2013 in May. Now, depending on the specs and the manufacturer, some hard hats are specified to last 3 years. Some are expected to last 5 years. this is what you have to find out. Where do you find that out? Well, you call the number on all the documentation when you buy that. Sometimes there's a sticker and there's a number to call, and sometimes if you buy it from a quite legit store, which I would suggest, from the store that actually sells PPE, personal protective equipment, then they will tell you. However, here's another thing. Excuse me. Caveat, as they say. I hate that word, caveat. But anyways, that's what it is. And the caveat is, sounds like caviar. Don't expect your hard hat to last that long. It is specified that if you barely use it, then by the date of expiry, which would be, well, you would just count 3 years from that date, and that's when the hard hat is not good. Define the shelf life of maximum lifespan on the hard hat. Depends on the. I just said that. Some of okay, we already said that. Some are 3 years, some of the 5 years. In our example, it's a 5 year. So May 2013, the lifespan that hard hat would expire in May 2018. Right? Then I say, don't expect your hard hat to last that long. All right, regardless of the designated lifespan, inspect the hard hat for cracks, dents, and punctures, fading or chalkiness, and discoloration. That would suggest that the integrity, physical integrity of the material from which the shell is made could be, well, somewhat compromised. And if that is compromised, then the safety of your skull is also compromised, right? Now, loss of flexibility or too much flexing, it behaves abnormal. If things are torn, broken, or otherwise damaged webbing components. When do you inspect? Once a day, once a month, every 6 months. You inspect for those things every time before you put that hard hat on your head. If you leave your hard hat on a construction site when you go for lunch, you come back from lunch, before you put that on, just give that. Now look, this here, it took me much longer to read than it takes actually to do. It takes a couple seconds to check for that. Care and use of the hard hats. Inspect. Now, okay, this is 10-2 right now, so I'm not sure how your schedule is yet. Do you have another class after this or not? What I have done is I have designated hour and 15 minutes for this class. So if I go a little bit over, I'm going to continue if you have to go. So if you have to go, please go. I'm going to continue. And once it's recorded, I am going to post that so you can catch the end of the class on our YouTube playlist. Okay. Sometimes I'm going to be able to fit within the time, and sometimes things could take a little bit longer, depending on whatever circumstances. Now, care and use. Inspect the hard hat each time you intend to wear it. We just said that. Clean with an approved cleaner. For example, our Confidence Plus trademark cleaning solution, or mild no detergent soap with warm water. No harsh chemicals or abrasives should be used. They compromise the physical integrity. Oil-based solvents will deteriorate the shell, so don't use gasoline or similar products to remove tar, grease, or other sticky contaminants. Do not be creative when it comes to that. Do not use scrapers, knives, or other abrasive tools to remove the debris from that. Cleaning the headband and webbing in a mild soap water solution will help to eliminate the buildup of oil contaminants. One thing, if you want to take away from this slide here, do not use chemicals that you are not supposed to use. How do you know that? Well, it doesn't say that you can use it on your hard hat, or just if you're not sure, just regular little bit of damp cloth or something like that. We're not cleaning those things that often anyways, but we should keep things tight, nice and neat. However, if you're using any chemical that you're not sure, that chemical can actually compromise the physical integrity of the shell. And it's supposed to protect your skull, right? Your skull is not that thick. The hard hat is thicker. And does that work? Do hard hats work? Yes, they do. Right? Statistically, if you are going to do some things once every 2 years that require the use of hard hat, statistically, you're not prone to have some sort of accidents. However, they do. Accidents happen unexpectedly. You could just do it one time in a lifetime, and that's when things can happen. However, when this is a regular part of your workday, 8 hours, day in, day out, statistically, chances are that something is going to hit your head. More than 30 years I've been in business. Have I had situations that they would cause some serious damage? Yes, I have. Right? Did I have situations that my hard hat worked in our classroom? Yes, I have. There's a reason why we're asking you to wear the hard hat in the classroom. One is, well, it's a secondary reason, which is getting used to wearing it. That's one thing. The other thing is things could actually fall down from above or from sideways, and they can, hit you. As far as brands, no, I don't have any recommended brands. However, I would recommend having some sort of a relationship with some of the stores that actually sell the personal protective equipment. Yes, the regular chain stores are fine. However, there are some stores that specialize in that. You can get advice. You can get some better and neater and more thought of things as opposed to stuff that is just sitting on the shelves on regular chain, which is nothing wrong. If it's a hard hat, it's a CSA approved, which means that if it is sold by Home Depot, for example, they would not sell non-CSA approved equipment. Online, things so. So the other thing, so I just, has it worked? Yes. All right. Decoration, prints. Some paints will attack and damage the shell materials. Do not paint any kind of acute stuff on your hard hat. That's not your decoration thing. You don't know the chemical composition of the paint or marker or whatnot that you're going to use. So just don't. This reduces the degree of protection. If you use any kind of paint on shell, it could actually eat into the shell and make it weaker. And it's not going to work when the time comes, hopefully never, but it's not going to give you the proper protection. But it's going to look pretty. All right. All right. So stickers and decals or decals. Some of the decals might be used as long as they are not metallic. The adhesives aren't damaging. So some of them are approved. As a general rule, just leave the damn thing alone. Right? It's supposed to be working. It's not supposed to look pretty, although it doesn't look that bad when you put that in. If you want to decorate something, get a Christmas tree. Right? There you go. Classification. There you go. Class G, Class E, see? Class E and Class C. That's the one that we need. Okay, if you go to pretty much any hardware store, you get a hard hat, most likely it will be Class E anyways. You look underneath there and it's going to, some of the indented print branding, excuse me, it is going to say Class E, which means it must withstand 12,000 volts for 3 minutes. That's the electrical specification for Class E. So that's what we're interested in. Are we going to be exposed to that kind of voltage in our classroom? Most likely not. I would pretty much be safe saying no, but, right? What if a lightning strikes? No, never mind. If a lightning strikes, hard hat is not going to help you. Types: type 1, type 2, type 1 and type 2. This is the one that we need. Type 1. Type 1 hard hats are only designed to protect workers from objects and blows that come from above and strike the top of the helmet. That's pretty much what we need. Now, type 2 are designed to protect workers from lateral blows, including from the back, side. Those will most likely be used in situations like oil rigs when there's chains swinging and da. Now, depending on the construction site, any construction site that you walk in, you're going to have a official security briefing, and you're going to be, there's going to be a bit of a comprehension evaluation that you have understood what was being said, and they will specifically specify specifically the specific equipment that you need, right? So that depends on the situation. Sometimes it's just a general kind of construction site, and sometimes it's a specialty type of a construction site. Now, reversible hard hats. Some people like to look cool by reversing the hard hats, putting it backwards. Why? Because it looks so damn cool that, coolness itself would be put to shame if it saw that. Now, yes, you can look cool if you want by putting those hard hats backwards, and sometimes people they add the coolness by having a hard hat and putting a hoodie on. Wow, really cool. Yeah. I mean, when I see that, every time I see that, I'm impressed. Like seriously, oh wow, hoodie on top of a hard hat. Cool. All right, never mind. Yes, sometimes you can reverse the hard hats, and sometimes you should reverse the hard hats. If you want to reverse a hard hat, there is that stuff. Here's the stuff you're looking for. Here is this sign that you're looking for. That means that hard hat is reversible. Is it going to stay on your head if you don't have that? If this hard hat is not designed to be reversible, yes, it's going to stay. But is it going to work properly? Well, you're going to hear that a lot from me. When it comes to safety, nothing happens until something happens. And I'll keep expanding on that. Nothing happens until something happens, and then you know whether you've done things properly or not. Sometimes it is necessary for you to reverse the hard hat. Like, for example, when you're doing a welding job. Yes, then you should reverse the hard hat because you're going to have the mask or whatnot. So that's when we're looking for those. Now, this one says type 2. We're looking for type 1. If you have, if you have type 2, that's fine. All right. You're just going to be more protected. But type 1 is fine. So CSA, type 1 that we're looking for, Class E. Boots, not going to spend too much time. Carbon fiber, toes, heels, and soles, or steel, toes, soles, and heels. Steel or carbon fiber, either way is fine, as long as you have the green tag and you have the orange Omega tag on it. Then you're fine. Now, in some construction sites, in some environments, there will be requirement that the boot goes above your ankle, and sometimes they don't care. That depends on where you're working, what the rules are to that specific. Usually, in regular construction sites, you're going to be asked that your boots go over the ankle. This is sort of like an investment in yourself. Yes, they could be expensive, they could be pricey, but as I keep saying, my boots, I bought them for some time ago, and they're still good. But I spent about $350 or something on them, which is not that pricey. However, it's on the kind of it's not that cheap either. If you buy ones that are $40 in some of the regular stores, yes, they will do the job. Yes, they'll do the job in the classroom. But if you had to wear them 8 hours a day, you would quickly go and spend that $400 on the other. Now, the tags. That's the one that we're looking for. Here's the green tag. Indicates the sole puncture protection with grade 1 protective toe cap. For heavy industrial environments, especially that construction where sharp objects. Did I have a situation that my boots worked? More than once, trust me. Did I have a situation that I thought I was going to neglect, over the 30 years when I was a lot younger and where the rules were not as tight? Yes. Was I sorry for that? Yes. There's one or two situations that I said, damn, I wish I had my work boots. And I also had situations that say, oh, I'm glad I put those shoes on. Seriously. So that's the green tag for you. And here is the omega tag, orange, the ohm sign for resistance. White triangle with orange Greek letter omega indicates electric shock protective footwear for industrial work environments where accidental contact with live electrical conductors can occur. Warning, electrical shock resistance deteriorates with wear. So the older the boot, the less protection you get. Make sure you're up to date with that. And there are others for your information here. I might ask you on some of the tests what certain thing means. However, the tests that I'm giving you are open book tests. However, I'm designing the questions in a way that you have to look for the answers. So yes, they are open book tests, but are they easy? Well, you'll see. All right. Here is the green tag. Here's the orange tag. You can read that. Glasses. 1B spectacles. Clear, non-tinted lenses. Somebody asks the ones, can you have prescription safety glasses? Yes, as far as they are safety glasses and prescription. If you use prescription glasses, then all the better. If you have the proper eyewear with the proper protection and the proper functioning. So we need side shields. There's a little bit of landmarking. Anti-fog, impact resistance lens. Again, there is a reason why we're asking you to wear the safety glasses. Excuse me. Were there situations that I wish I was wearing some of this, the safety glasses, then nobody was watching, and I just say, nobody was watching, nobody's going to tell me, oh, damn, I wish I wore my safety glasses. Yes, I had situations like that. Did I have situations that I say, oh, I'm glad that my glasses are on? Yes, I had situations like that. Yeah. You only have one pair of eyes. I do have a friend who was too lazy to put the safety glasses or wearing a mask while he was welding. I'm just going to tack that, nothing's going to happen. Boom. And that's the time that things are happening. Things flew in his eye, and now for the rest of his life, he's got some sort of a sight distortion on one of the eyes. You can't get rid of it. You just live with that for the rest of your life. Things happen. Things happen. All right, so there's some information of what we need. Just what we need to do, what we need to have is safety glasses that are CSA approved, and they are non-tinted with side shields. Those are the ones that we need that protect from sides and a little bit from the top. Now, sometimes you're going to hear glasses and goggles, safety goggles. Quite often you're going to hear that term used interchangeably. Well, this is glasses and here are goggles. Glasses are glasses, side shields, protection from the top. Goggles are going to seal your eyes from the outside world. So if you're working with corrosive chemicals and if there's a danger of a risk of splashing, these are not going to help because whatever the liquid is going to go from top, from the bottom, or whatever, it can't still go in your eyes. So in that case, you need goggles. Now, some of the goggles, I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, but I'm pretty sure there's some smart people that they would have perforated kind of holes, their vents on top. What's the purpose of the goggles if liquid still can't get in? Well, I guess there will be certain protection levels that you're required to have in whatever situations. And that's the end of the of today's class. If there's any questions, I'm pretty sure you have. You're welcome always to contact me any way you want. Email is the best. I'm pretty sure I forgot something. I got that feeling, but maybe not. And as far as everything else, well, we're going to iron things out as we go along. But now you have the basic information, the basic navigational knowledge on how to use tools that we're providing. You know how to show up, tools and safety equipment. I'm going to say it again. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot my boots today. I promised to bring them next time. Can I go to the lab just for today? No, I can't. I can't let you in if you either have your boots or you don't have your boots or safety glasses or a hard hat. I'm not allowed to let you in the room. And if I do, I'll get in trouble. So here's my thing. Here's my speech. I love you. You are special. And I so dearly love you. And you're so dearly special. I like my job better. All right. I could lose my job if something happens to you and I knowingly let you in without the proper protection equipment. Okay. All right. So next, our next class is going to be in person, and we'll just go according to the schedule that we have posted. Okay. This concludes today's lesson. I will see you when I see you. Thank you very much.